What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Leon Angus. I wasn't planning on making this video today, but it's quite funny because personally I'm not one to actually kick someone when they're down, but this person clearly is. On a positive note, seriously, there has been a few changes that have obviously taken place in Amazon Associates, and whilst we can't even go out and enjoy the weather, we now obviously have to suffer not making as much money as well. And I thought I was safe. That's the funniest thing, because obviously you had all of the brick and mortar local businesses that are having to close and, you know, potentially claim grants within the UK and whatever else, whereas online businesses were safe. And I actually saw obviously a soaring income through my Amazon Associates sales over the past week or so, whilst the COVID-19 has been taking place, the pandemic, whilst we've been within that, you know. So it's quite interesting. There's going to be a few things that I'm going to go through in this video that is purely going to be to help you to understand why I believe this is happening, what you can do to work around it, and a few different things, whether you're a YouTuber or you're a content website owner, depending on what it is. You may be coming from different places watching this video, so I just wanted to make this the most useful kind of video at this point in time, so you can actually overcome this and, you know, really improve your business and your efforts moving forward, so this kind of thing doesn't hurt you in the future if it has done so this time round. All right, so let's get into the video. All right, so many of my subscribers, existing or pre-existing, may clearly notify you in the comment section that I regularly use my phone. I'm no professional YouTuber yet. All right, so I'm going to go through notes, and this is how I make sure the videos are as useful as they can possibly be. I might invest into one of those teleprompters or something, you know, maybe that will help. I can read it off a screen or something, but we can't afford that right now, especially with Jeff, you know, like he's just not allowing us to afford anything, you know, if he can have any control or participation inside of it. On April the 14th, I actually received this email at 7:03 p.m. notifying me that Amazon has made some changes. All right, so the actual message said this: so we hope you're staying well during this time. We are writing to inform you of upcoming changes on Amazon Associates Program Operating Agreement, which governs your participation in the Amazon Associates Program. All changes are effective as of April 2020, April 21st, 2020. So basically, you know, at the moment we got like about 6 days left to make some money, all right, before obviously everything tanks. But on a serious note, obviously, yeah, we got a couple of days, a week or so, so it's just preparing us to obviously kind of our minds ready for that change. All right, so they're just giving us that pre-warning there, and after you do click the link, you're taken over to the actual new commission rate. So that looks like this. The average is 3% on average, and then they're ranging all the way down to 1%, which I think some of them were already at 1%, not quite sure. Actually, no, these are the only ones that have changed. So this is where they currently stand after the changes were made. Some categories were not affected, and I will actually leave a link so you can go over and see those after in the description box as well. Do I think this is related to the pandemic? I'm also going to be talking about as well, because this is quite interesting of how this is happening within this given time. And we all know a few things is that, you know, a lot of people are now shopping online, which I think has taken some level of effect into Amazon's decision making. I don't think that this is something that they didn't have in the pipeline anyway. I just think that maybe it came sooner than later. All right, so I'm going to get into that in a second. So how much have commission rates dropped on average? Well, Amazon's commission rates has officially dropped to an average of 3.1%. All right, so some of the actual biggest changes I'll actually show you in this screenshot right here have dropped by 78%, which is absolutely ridiculous. If we take a look at headphones, beauty, musical instruments, you can see that's dropped by 50%. Furniture, home, pets, which I'm in, pets products, that's dropped by 63%, because I used to get 8% or 8.5%. It's now dropped to 3%. Yeah, 8% to 3%. And then we've got, you know, healthcare, 4.5% to 1%. That's ridiculous. So anyone who's making money with healthcare products are going from making 4%, which wasn't fantastic anyway, but all the way down to 1%. So that's $1 for every $100 that you sell. sell. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. What I personally always look at whenever something like this happens, there's always like room for opportunity if you're searching for it. And there's something that a friend of mine told me a long while ago that I share regularly on my channel. The saying, when one door closes, another one opens. And honestly, that saying is very true, because whenever something happens, there's always a big wave of opportunity. So whilst this is, you know, something that's quite detrimental to a lot of people, if you're not searching for that positive outcome, then you seriously won't find it. You have to see it as, I personally believe, like, if you don't expect any kind of change in regards to, you know, being a business owner or self-employed, then you're probably better off working a job. And that's the truth. Like, you know, that is quite harsh, but I do think that, because if you want to do the same thing over and over and achieve the same result, you might as well work a job, because that's more predictable, you know. And even still, that's not absolutely predictable, because, you know, things happen, you get fired and anything can happen, like this scenario, you know, so anything can happen. But at the same time, I just think that part of becoming a good business owner, or, you know, running your own thing, is purely also learning to adapt. And those who are able to adapt to any situation are the ones who are the most successful, or who lead on to be the most successful. So I think that that's quite an important thing, is just being like a chameleon and being able to change and adapt to any kind of situation or environment. Right, so what I wanted to go through is for a lot of marketers that are experienced, like, you know, this is no shock to them, so like they kind of, not like that, but give a little smirk at these situations to say, told you so kind of thing. And this is why, like, a lot of the top level marketers are always preaching to say, you know, get people's emails and contact details and diversify and use these other ways of kind of monetizing and whatever else. It's purely because of things like this, and they preempt these kind of things because these things have been happening. So there's never been a time where things don't change. One of the things that I think you need to inherently understand is that there's two types of traffic that you get on the internet. Okay, well, there's three types. Any of you have not read .com Secrets, the book, then I highly 100% recommend you get that book in the description box below, because that is absolutely going to be vital to learning this concept and understanding it. And also, if you've got any online business, whether it's a YouTube channel or a website, you just need to understand the concepts within that book. It's very important. But anyway, there's traffic that you don't control. So that's like traffic online that you don't control. So that's things like, you know, when you're getting cold traffic and whatever else, and it's on a platform, whatever, you just don't control it. Then there's traffic you control. So that's when you got like a following, like a subscriber base, like YouTube, Instagram, you got followers. So you can essentially control the traffic on the platform. So say, for example, if I put up a new YouTube video, well, all of my subscribers are going to see that. But those subscribers are not on YouTube because of me. They're on YouTube because they signed up to watch YouTube. I'm just controlling them and bringing them to my account and my profile. And then there's traffic that you control. And this is the hotspot. This is where any kind of long-term business owner always is. Yeah, this is where you make the big money. And that's basically capturing those people and collecting their details, so you can later contact them off of that platform. Okay, so that means like an email list or some kind of, you know, contact detail. I don't know however else you're going to capture that information on the internet. All right, so that's what I personally believe you need to understand in order to win in this situation and many other situations that are going to come up guaranteed in the future as well. Now, whilst this is obviously a big problem and it's a big detrimental kind of outcome for a lot of people, I still think that, you know, it brings a lot of opportunity as well. And it's basic business 101 to actually understand that there are going to be changes. Just to go through a few things to really help you to focus on the right things during this time, I've actually got a few listed things that I'll go through. So one of the key points is there's going to be a lot less saturation within your given market now. So a lot of people are now coming online, and obviously, you know, there's going to be a lot of competition. With you know, the more competition, it becomes more difficult for you to remain sustainable, you know, because you're competing with higher quality and more people within the space. There's a lot more people kind of shouting and making noise. So you really have to be that kind of lighthouse amongst the mist. All right, so this is going to remove some of that, really reduce the amount of people that are starting online businesses with Amazon associates. So it can be beneficial in that way. You can now also focus on future-proofing your business. So this is going to educate you not only to overcome this situation, but actually to prepare for future situations that are going to come up in the future. So the way that you're actually going to set your business up up, and the way you're going to adapt to this by following the tips in this video is you're going to be able to kind of future-proof, and if anything were to change in the future, you would kind of almost expect it and be prepared for it a little bit more than, you know, where you might have been today in that sense. You can actually now negotiate with vendors directly and things like that, so you might get better commissions out of this, because say for example for me, I'm promoting pet products on one of my websites. Well, if I was to reach out to those specific vendors, I might be able to negotiate higher commission rates, you know, with them. They obviously still make their full income, I get higher commission. It's a win-win situation. They don't have to deal with Amazon, they're dealing directly with the seller. Will also kind of prompt you to increase the level of quality that you push out, because ultimately with an Amazon site or Amazon YouTube channel or something like that, you don't have to be very high quality, because people are so familiar with Amazon and the brand, and they do such a good job at converting people into sales. It's very easy. You're almost just referring. You could refer like 100 random people and probably convert like 5 to 10 of them, just because Amazon just does a great job. Even if you had like a crappy video and whatever else, or a crappy piece of content, a crappy blog article, you could probably still get quite a lot of sales just by actually getting people to see it and click the link, you know. So I think it will increase the overall authority of the website. But I do know that a lot of people are using Amazon, so that's a vast majority of affiliate marketers altogether, or referral marketers if you want to call it that, are using Amazon's associate program. So it will force them to actually increase the quality of content that they push out in the first place, because ultimately they might not be able to monetize with Amazon. It might not be that beneficial, or obviously they might need to gain more traffic, you know. So that's also another thing. Again, this will just teach you to adapt when change comes up, because inevitable change is always going to come around and smack you in the face, and it's unfortunate, but again, it's for the ones who are strong, who are able to overcome these situations and just look to the positive opportunities that lay ahead as well. Let's just actually bring this down to reality, because it's not just about Amazon associates. This is about life in general on a serious note. Like, whereas these changes happened before, well, we've had the housing crisis in 2008. We've also had the stock market crashes. There's several of them, like, you know, where the stock market has crashed and people have lost a lot of money. Technology, when that updates, look at all the people who own local businesses, and then everything's moving on to the internet. A lot of businesses have had to close their doors. We've also had things like, you know, say for example, YouTubers and content producers of where their kind of whole brand has crashed. Logan Paul's a good example. When he'd done the thing with the forest thing, you know, everything came down. YouTube didn't want to allow him to monetize his videos, and so on and so forth. So one of the biggest things you need to look at when these kind of things happen, who are the people who actually won in those situations, and what can we learn from them? But one of the things, if we take a look at like just a content producer, Logan Paul, in that scenario, he was interviewed by TMZ. You might have seen them on YouTube, and basically when everything happened with the, you know, when he went into the forest and whatever else, there was an interviewer who was asking him, you know, how are you sustaining your income? How are you making so much money still? Because he's still claiming he's living his normal life and whatever else. And one of the things he just pointed at them and said, he was like this, like the merch. So if you're a YouTuber, he can safely say that if YouTube went down, he's still making a crap ton through his merch. Now, obviously he's selling his merch on YouTube, so you could argue that point. But if you actually head over to any of his websites, like, or his merch shops, the first thing they do is collect your email, and then they'll retarget you through email. So even if YouTube did go down, there's probably a big massive chance that he'll be able to either, you know, market on Instagram, so he could take it to different platforms, Twitter or something like that, or at the same time he could remarket to you through email. And that's obviously one of the best forms of communication that we still have today. And it's kind of funny, because I would say right now it just seems like left and right we're just being exposed for our vulnerabilities. I would say COVID-19 has exposed those who are not kind of handling their finances correctly, or not making the best financial decisions. So maybe you're not earning enough in the first place, and you know, you haven't tried enough, or you're not saving the money that you do have and keeping that. And then obviously at the same time, when we look at Amazon's change within this given moment as well, we could take a look and say that a lot of us are not diversifying our incomes, and we're too comfortable and complacent and reliant on one source of income, you know. So it ultimately always comes down to the old saying that a lot of people use is, if you were to get a pool and fill it up, you're better off having like 7 hoses opposed opposed to one, you know, so it's always going to fill up a lot faster and a lot more efficiently, and it's going to be a lot more sustainable and reliable if obviously you're using different sources to actually fill that up. So I think personally this is just a learning curve, educating us, and it's evolving us as well, because the way that marketing is going to be done, especially by beginners, is going to change for the better. You know, I don't think anything's going to kind of change for the worse here, apart from your income. And so why do I think this is happening? Well, according to Food Logistics, there's been a 1200% increase in online shoppers, and quite a vast majority of them actually being new customers. Okay, so a lot of people are new to the internet, you know, maybe the over 60s, 50s and whatever else, who are now coming onto the internet to order their shopping and goods and whatever else. All right, and what I think is that Amazon is at the tip of everyone's tongue. Everyone knows Amazon, you know, even if they're not using it actively right now, they're very much aware of it. It's essentially a household name at this point. A lot of those people are now going to be shopping on Amazon. So Amazon are seeing a big kind of influx or surge of traffic that they had not seen prior to this event. And what this means is that the same products that you're promoting, say for example, my pet products, might have seen a surge of traffic and sales of like maybe 500% than average, you know, or 400% than average, which means now if we're making like, you know, $5-10, we're going to be making like $15-20. So these are the things that are happening right now, just to kind of put that out there. And what my thoughts are is that Amazon basically was using affiliates. They always had this whole model in place to basically scale their business. It's like if me or you started a business today, we wanted to go and get our name out there. Well, there's different forms of marketing, and that's what I think we forget as affiliates. What we do, we're marketers. Okay, so basically Amazon can go and spend on advertising, or they can spend and have like word of mouth. Okay, so that comes from affiliate marketing as well, and they can have a bunch of different professional kind of elite level, ranging from beginner to elite level marketers that are going to go out and just spread the word about their business. And that's all we've been doing essentially. We've just been spreading the word, spreading the word, spreading the word. Amazon has, like, you know, when I say filling up the pool, they've got like thousands and millions of them filling up this pool. What I think is that it was like a kind of process that they would say, all right, when we're starting out, we're going to use this to actually grow our business. And, you know, as we get to kind of these numbers, like maybe it be a measurement of average customer base, or average new amount of customers within a given day, or average users, average order numbers, whatever these targets may be, we're going to start to kind of filter out those, that source of marketing. All right, because ultimately that's all we make up, is a source of marketing. They could either go and spend, you know, on advertising, or they could allow you to sell a product and obviously give you a commission. So it's two forms of however they go and spend that money. And they're obviously essentially taking a cut on a product to sell to you. Whereas if they were to weigh it up, it might cost them more to actually go out and sell that product through advertising. But now, because of the level of organic traffic and customer base that Amazon has, because don't forget, just say they had like 2 million customers or 3 million customers. I don't even know how many customers Amazon has. That might be just stupidly low numbers. But anyway, just say they had like, you know, 50 million customers, let's say, because that's a big number. Just say they had 50 million customers, and then they saw like, you know, they've hit a target of like 60 million since this has happened. And that was their target, to say, all right, when we hit 60 million customers within our database, we own them, we own that traffic. We're now going to reduce affiliates commission rates to blah, blah, blah. Like that was the plan from 5 years ago when they designed, or 10 years ago when affiliate marketing came about for their associates program. Who knows? I do know that there will be obviously, you know, leaks within information, or maybe Jeff Bezos might come out publicly and let everyone know, because I do think to a certain degree in this scenario you owe an explanation. You know, there obviously was a change like this prior to this, I believe in 2017 or something like that. So I don't know what happened back then. I wasn't marketing back then, neither was I online. I do believe there will be something public that Amazon will release. case to give you or me and all of us more clarity on exactly what's going on with this. And if we look at it like from a standpoint of Amazon's view of affiliates, well, for them it's cheap marketing. Amazon's paying us like next to nothing to go out and drive a crap ton of customers to actually make purchases. And imagine like over the years how many customers affiliates have driven that never used to use Amazon but have just heard of it or something like that, you know. So all of those people will sign up and become a customer, and even if their cookie period is 24 hours, you know, if they don't add it to cart or whatever, and say for example, you know, people basically go back and they purchase and whatever, that's a new customer to them for like the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. That's for free if we just drove them there and they didn't even make us a commission, or that person makes us one commission and we basically make our little $8 or $10, and then they're a customer for life of Amazon. So you have to think, you know, it's very cheap marketing, and they get to kind of hold that customer because they've got a very high retention rate. You know, they keep customers on board for as long as we exist. I don't think I've ever not been a customer of Amazon since I signed up. One of the other things is, and Amazon have control over the expenses. This was quite an interesting one because when Amazon are doing some form of marketing, they have to comply with the marketing terms and conditions that are presented by the third-party advertising platform. But when it comes to affiliates, they can say, yep, we're going to, how much should we save? You know, 10 million today? All right, cool. We're going to do that. And they can just knock off 1%, and that's it. They've knocked off like, you know, millions of dollars of expense, you know, or they could reduce it by what they've done, like 6% or whatever, you know. So this is how easy it is for them to really recuperate huge amounts of money. And I just believe that over time, this was the plan that they had from a long time ago. And one of my reasons to back that up is purely because every company kind of is focused around their shareholders. So everything is done, you know, for the shareholders. Yeah. So whether, you know, a company will usually own the majority of the shares, and then they obviously sell shares on stock market when they IPO. Yeah. Initial public offering. When you've got shareholders who are relying on the company to succeed, I believe that having a business running on affiliate marketing and individual marketers and some people that are as beginner as starting a week in is not a sustainable method of growth, you know. So it's something that can get you a big influx of growth, but I don't think that's something that a shareholder would want to see over a long period of time, over the long term. So I believe that it couldn't be within their kind of plan. It might be like something that they have as an attachment, but the core of the business cannot be reliant on that kind of method. So however they grew their customer base, I believe that we was just one of those hoses that actually add into the pool, you know, along with all the other methods that they use. So it doesn't mean that they will completely factor us out, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. I'm going to go through a few frequently asked questions that you may have and that I've seen online and plucked that I'll go through at the end of this video. So I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on those as well. And to actually prove this concept in theory, let's actually take a look at Amazon's commission rates over the last 10 years. And as you can see here, when we take a look, you can see the average commission rate back in 2010 was all the way at 10%. We're now at an average at 3.4%. So it's just diminished over the years. It did have a slight increase during 2017, April and July, but then it's just been on a downwards trajectory, and that's been the case ever since the program came about. It may be down to their database being a certain size, like I said, the customer database, and they now feel that they're self-sufficient enough to not use us as much, or it could be that they've just hit record numbers and they basically don't want to share that profit, because if they were to come back and this was a temporary fix, then it clearly indicates that it was purely to make a profit within the times of the pandemic, and then obviously they come back to rely on us once again. Who knows? Ultimately, I don't really feel that you should leave that decision down to them, and by following a few actionable tips that I'm going to give you, you'll be able to obviously, you know, justify not doing that in future. So as I know, some of you are going to be YouTubers, some of you are website owners, and I've got some actionable steps of how to actually work around this to overcome the situation and overcome any potential situations that might come up using Amazon Associates in the future. So basically, one thing I'll say for website owners is definitely diversify your monetization methods. And I'm actually going to throw up a screenshot of different methods that you can use here, but you could do informational products. So that could be like ebooks and courses, digital courses, memberships. You could have digital tools and software that you could recommend. Advertising, we have that benefit that we can make money from ads. We've got lead lead generation, so that's obviously selling information onto third-party vendors. We've got consulting and other affiliate programs, so you don't have to actually just go with Amazon Associates. We've got a whole plethora of different affiliate networks across the whole of the internet. I've actually left a link in the description to 42 different affiliate programs that are alternatives to Amazon Associates. And if you really want to find a bunch of different programs, all you need to do is go to a website called offervault.com, and you can punch in your niche or product that you would like to promote, and it will actually go out and search the internet for all of the different affiliate networks that you can promote products on that have those products. Okay, so you could put in, like, just say I had a certain dog collar, I could go and put that into Offervault, and it will find other affiliate programs that offer that product as well, so I don't have to do it through Amazon. So it's like a marketplace for affiliate networks. All right, you could use alternative affiliate networks directly, so instead of obviously going through them, like I said, you can go to like ShareASale, you could use eBay, you could use Walmart. There's many different ones, and obviously I would still recommend that you start with Amazon to start out, but once you actually, you know, start to gain some traffic, then I would swap those products out with those third-party companies. So instead of actually saying click here to Amazon, you might say click here for best price or click here for cheapest price, something like that on your buttons, so you're not actually directly marketing Amazon's product, it's just generically obviously for the cheapest price of the product online. I would say target higher volume keywords during a time like this, especially when building a brand new site, because ultimately the more traffic you have, the more you can do with that. And obviously, you know, you don't have to monetize just with affiliate programs. As I said, you can also do that with ads, and if you've got a lot of traffic, then your advertising income can equate to quite a bit and really compete with the affiliate income that you can make on a website. I would definitely say build an email list ASAP. If you're not collecting emails 100%, that is something, this should be the reason that you absolutely collect them now. If you have a site that's got high volume of traffic and you're not collecting leads, then you're missing out on a lot of money as it is. And obviously, you know, you can also promote like ClickBank products inside of there. Even you could obviously, you know, make more money with when you sell the site as well. So this can increase the overall value even if you're not sending those people emails. Just actually collecting them is the most important part. And you want to do that with some kind of free cheat sheet. I always recommend like creating something around going to like BuzzSumo, one of those kind of sites, and seeing something that's just being shared like astronomically within your space, and then that tells you that there's a lot of interest around that particular topic, and then just basically create like a small cheat sheet, you know, giving some tips around that topic, and then share that on your website, so you'll know that you'll get a high opt-in rate, or it will be a useful topic that people want to know about. I'd also say use e-commerce products across your site, so you could potentially start up an e-com store or something like that, maybe even do Amazon FBA and actually drive the traffic from your website over to that, which again can increase your income on the site and also can really increase the multiple that you can sell it for when it comes to selling your business as well. I would also explore the 1v1 method, or the cross-selling method as some of those call it. And what that is basically taking a product that you've done a review on and then recommending an alternative. You're usually picking out one fault within the product. So say for example you got a review on the X60 bike review or something, well you would basically, you know, read them all the way through and then say, yeah, it's great, but blah blah blah, this is the thing I didn't like, and then the only links on the page are going to be off to an alternative product. So you say, this is the one I recommend on that basis. That kind of thing you could do. You need to go very heavy on CRM, and that's conversion rate optimization. So on a website, basically this could be things like tweaking your introductions, maybe, you know, changing your layout, making sure that everything reads well, it's entertaining, it carries through people through from the beginning all the way through. So maybe changing the imagery, really focusing on split testing different color schemes, buttons, styles, and also improving your call to actions as well. So making sure that around that area you're maybe tweaking it, you know, to explain the benefits a bit more, or being a bit more direct, or being a little less direct, whatever it may be. You want to improve the conversion rates on your piece of content. I would also make sure that you just have a long-term goal to eventually just go into something bigger. I know some of you may not have that goal, but these are the things when you stay stagnant that you can get hurt by. So maybe go into potentially looking at flipping websites down the road, you know. So first of all, look at, you know, building up your income and cash flow, and then potentially maybe sell a website and then go into flipping sites and then keep a few cash flow websites to sustain, you know, your consistent income. I think that would be a great model. That's something what I potentially want to do. So maybe that's something that's attractive to you. I personally would even go into like developing a software down the road, or, you know, a SaaS company, whatever it may be, and that's software as a service, you know. So whatever it may be, there's many different opportunities if you are essentially looking for them. All right, now if you're a YouTuber, you might have a little bit of a different avenue, but there's still a few things that you can actually do to prevent any kind of detrimental effect to your business in the future. So one of the things that you can do as a content producer on YouTube is sell merch. That's a brilliant way. I explained it earlier on that Logan Paul done it when obviously he had his situation that went on. You could create your own products. So that could be, you know, a software, tools. I've seen people sell like lighting packages for like Adobe if you're in like the camera space, or, you know, the editing or whatever it may be, software you could sell, or anything digital, anything online that you can actually present to someone and collect some income for. And then obviously make sure that you're collecting emails. So many YouTubers don't do this, you know, so they've got like their platform on YouTube, and then YouTube could turn around, or there could be some new platform, and then the whole business is dead, like 5 years worth of work, or, you know, 4 years worth of work. So you need to be able to capture those people on a different platform. And the reason why it's so important is because by you collecting emails, does it reduce the amount of people that are subscribed to your channel? And it doesn't affect it at all. You're just now obviously speaking to those people on two different platforms. I personally think that email list is the best way to do it. There are Facebook Messenger bots, but I don't think that's a good way. Reason being is because you're still in the hands of Facebook. If you use email list, then obviously, you know, you have that customer base. You can download it and export it into a CSV file, which is just an Excel spreadsheet, and you've got a list of contact details with their names next to it that you can use any third-party marketing email marketing tool. You can even use a Gmail to email those people in mass. So even if there's a new platform or something happens to YouTube, you can get to those people, you can sell to them, you can do it wherever, and you can obviously recommend them that to follow you on something else. It's God forbid something happens on that. Okay, so it's very important. And again, you just want to head over to a site like BuzzSumo, or if you understand your niche that well, look at what people are asking, create a little kind of PDF cheat sheet or something like that. You can get someone on Fiverr to, you know, if you do a Word doc or something, get someone on Fiverr to make it look all fancy and whatever else, and just serve that up to your audience so they actually opt in to get that and collect their email list, and set up like an automated sequence where you talk to them over the next 7 days or 14 days. Spread your following across 2 or more platforms. So if you currently use YouTube as your main source, then start referring people, and it's just leaving a link in your description. You can actually do this by heading over to the upload default section in the settings tabs in your YouTube dashboard, and you can set an upload default to just have your Instagram and have something else, maybe your website, where people can go over and obviously contact you on a different platform. So personally, your website won't serve up on that too well, but only if you're collecting leads there, you know, like, and giving away stuff on the website to collect emails. But if you're not doing that, then definitely, you know, send people over to Instagram, and maybe have like a Twitter or something like that. Twitter, I believe, is kind of dying out, so I don't know, maybe use Twitter, though it's just another platform. That's all it is. So you can obviously speak to those people on many different platforms. The other thing is going to be diversify. So you could potentially, you know, make income from other ways. So you could do like brand deals, sponsors, if you're seeking them. You could also monetize with paid content. So Vitali TV is a good example of this, where he basically monetizes his audience not only with YouTube, but he actually has his own like content that he people pay for, the premium content that people don't see there, or he does it on his own website. So that's something you could look at. And many of you, if you're a successful YouTuber, you can obviously head off and get like a developer to design you a section of your website that has like its own kind of YouTube platform on it, you know, so people go to your website to actually watch you there. It's not going to stop them from watching you on YouTube. It's just that you're now obviously taking that traffic and making it your own. As I said, you're not just controlling it on YouTube. So I think that's quite important as well. Create a website if you have haven't already. So if you're a YouTuber and you don't have a website, you're honestly missing out on a lot of opportunity, income, and also just staying in touch with your potential viewers and customers and whatever else. So I would definitely say you absolutely need a website, extend the online real estate of your brand if you don't have one already. So that's very important. Now, the last thing is from an investment standpoint, if you want to make money out of Amazon, you're just kind of gutted about this whole thing, then maybe buy into their shares. This is a good indication that Amazon are very much focused on the long term and that the company is doing very well. Because if a company is able to cut off a certain traffic source, then because they know that that's what's going to happen. A lot of people who are promoting their products are now not going to promote their products and use other vendors and just not sign up to them and whatever else. So they know that they're cutting a big chunk of their traffic off. Well, not maybe a big chunk in comparison to how much traffic they have, but they're willing to cut that leg, and so I think that if they are prepared to do that, that shows that the company is in good health and in a good place, and also going forward, they have good long-term plans, that are super reliable. And if you just look at the company in general, obviously the overall health from the outside standpoint is very good. Of course, you'd need to look into the value of the company and all of those kind of balance sheets and income statements to really figure out how valuable that investment would potentially be. Now I've got a few FAQs to go through. So will this affect all countries' Amazon associates? I personally think it will, like most definitely. If you're in the UK, I haven't received any email or any notification yet, but I do believe that is 100% going to follow up. They're not going to do it just on a US based audience, although the commission rates are different in different countries. So who knows, maybe it might be worth now targeting your specific country if the commission rates are not high. But at the same time, as soon as that traffic source gets big enough from that country or wherever, then they might potentially say, all right, well, we've got enough customers from UK now, we don't need them anymore. And same thing happens. So when I was talking about that kind of upwards trajectory and then downwards in regards to how they filter the affiliates in and out of their business, I think that once any country gets to that kind of threshold that they have for their numbers, then they'll just filter them out. So that's the way it's going to go. I believe that's the way it will be. Is this a permanent change? Yes, I do believe it's permanent. If it wasn't, they would have stated that inside of the email. So, they would have said this is until this and that date, but they're just leaving it as an open-ended message. So it's indefinite. Will Amazon eventually get rid of the associates program altogether? Personally, potentially they will. Like if they kind of are making enough and, have enough customers on the platform to not need affiliates, then they don't need them, So I believe like it's a lot more sustainable for them to have their own control over all customers that come to the platform. And if they're self-sufficient, then why do they need an affiliate? I mean, obviously it's additional income. It depends on what kind of financial decisions Amazon are making, but from what I can see, I believe that eventually the affiliate program might kind of diminish to a point where no one wants to sign up, where everything's 1%, or they'll just cut it completely. Can you download the sheet of percentage changes? Yes, you can. That sheet that I popped up earlier with all the different changes of the income change, the commission rate, was from a guy called Doug Cunnington. So if you actually head over to Doug Cunnington's YouTube channel, then you'll be able to see his sheet. You can download it from him. That's his sheet. I wouldn't obviously make it downloadable on my channel. Do I think commission rates will continue to drop? Most definitely. I think that we can see the trend, so if we take a look at this sheet again, pop up, we can see that obviously the trend is just going downhill and it doesn't look like it's coming up anytime soon or returning back to where it was anytime soon. But if you ask me the question, do I think Amazon going to come running back? Potentially, maybe, because if everyone starts to change, vendors and who they use, and then Amazon sees a massive drop in traffic and sales, then they might potentially come back. Well, they would in that scenario. So I don't think that they might not cut it, but even if they do, they might come running back, So who knows? Maybe I'll get a message regarding this video because it's quite controversial to. I support Amazon, but this isn't the greatest of circumstances to be speaking on them. Is this a good time to start business online? 100%. I think there's no perfect time than now. No better time than now. Definitely, right now there's a lot of attention on the pandemic and whatever else. So right now you could be building up something So when things swing back round, you can have a wave of opportunity that you can set up for you and your family. So I definitely think it's a great opportunity, especially that, you know, everything's now moving and shifting online. So this is a good chance for you to get started online. And if you do want to learn that stuff, then go check out, like, you know, some of my stuff across this channel. Go and research. You know, we've got so much access to so much information now that there's literally no excuse to get started. And if you really want to kind of take things to the next level, there's a course that I recommend which is called Savage Affiliates, and it shows you affiliate marketing and how to get started with that. If you're a YouTuber and, you know, you basically don't really know about affiliate marketing and you're just using affiliate links, or you're, you know, you're just not that clued up about it, I would 100% recommend that you go and check out Savage Affiliates. It's a course that I basically used, and it really changed everything for me. I spent a lot of money on trying to learn this stuff and spent like over £6,000, you know, trying to learn it, and never really had any results. And then that was the course that changed everything for me. So I always recommend that course inside of my videos. And if you are interested in taking that up through my link, then I also offer you a free coaching call as well. So, you know, if you want any kind of my skill sets and my knowledge, I can actually show you different ways of monetizing your business, and just kind of reiterating or diving a little deeper into the things that I mentioned in this video. So if you are interested in that, then make sure to click the link in the description, the Savage Affiliates course, and then just send an email to me at support@leonangus.com just to show me proof that you've purchased, and then we'll obviously get it going from there. I love to have a chat about affiliate marketing or this you know, scenario that we're going through at the moment. All right, so that's it. If you are new, make sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, stay safe, peace.